Remember when I flew out to Boston to talk to you about a second degree, and I felt that nursing was a practice that you would enjoy and actually add to.
I remember you saying, and it was a statement that stuck with me, and you said, we have plenty of strong lawyers in the world, but we don't have enough strong nurses. I remember she would come home exhausted, physically, emotionally, spiritually drained. I said, Mom, I don't want to do what you do. Nursing has been in my family for a while. One of my favorite aunts, Aunt Judy, became the first nurse in our family. She started back in the 1970s and then inspired, I believe, my mom.
I just have always admired nurses. Even before I got into the field, now I have the greatest respect for them. When I went in to interview, I was in my 40s. And I asked the dean, I said, am I too old to go into this profession? And she said, oh no, you're never too old to go into this profession. So I started off as an oncology nurse. It was extremely challenging. For 12, 16 hours, you really don't relax. You're lucky if you get 10 minutes for it to eat some food in that time, With this profession, we need nurses to feel empowered because they're the ones who are actually there seeing what the problems are.
I started off as a bedside nurse, and at that time, I found myself wanting to do more.
When I told Becky that I felt that she is a good fit for having a nursing career, she took it off into a direction of her own. She got into the field, saw what was going on, what needed to be changed, and started challenging it almost immediately.
I remember thinking to myself, we lived in an environment that nothing worked well for us. What we have is a shortage of nurses willing to work in healthcare environments and schedules as it exists today. Florence Nightingale founded nursing based on challenging the medical status conventional practice. She founded nursing by challenging the status quo. I felt like I had to go and keep amplifying and keep shaking things up. And at that time, it didn't feel like I could do it from the bedside. Nobody ever heard me there. After having left nursing, I got a phone call from the CEO of Intelycare, who caught me on a terrible day. I sat there and I told him, this is why every health system has it wrong. You keep treating nurses like a commodity, like a cog in a 24/7 wheel, and like they have no value in healthcare. He said, I was calling to ask you to be on my board, but give me a day. And he called me back 24 hours later and he said, I'd like you to join my company. When David called and asked me to join, he saw value in nursing to lead in his organization. Someone finally really got it. We want to really incentivize nurses to have a work-life balance, but not only a work-life balance, but an ability to also expand their careers. Intelycare is a workforce management tool that empowers nurses to work when, how, and where they want. Unlike most conventional staffing models that give you a schedule that you have to work to with no flexibility, the nurse is in charge. So many of our IPs, we call them IntelliPros, IPs, are going back to school because when they work for us, they can actually go to school.
Nursing is kind of my life because I really love what I do. Being a nurse and a mom at the same time was very challenging, very difficult. You spend a lot of time away from home. When I was introduced to Intelycare, I found out I had the choice of picking up my own hours, making up my own schedule. So I work around what fit for my family. A lot of agencies don't offer 401ks or health insurance or those kind of amenities that Intelycare offer. Will is my Intelycare Success Pro manager. Whenever I had an issue, I would call Will, and if Will wasn't there, someone called me back.
Why did you want to become a nurse?
I wanted to become a nurse just by watching how many people needed help. Growing up in Haiti, how many people were dying and not having the proper care, access to hospital, access to nurses.
Nursing is a global calling, and coming here and pursuing your dreams has been quite an accomplishment.
When you work hard, you know what you want and you focus on it, everything's attainable.
Intelycare's ambition is to be the place that nurses trust most with their careers and their aspirations and their work-life balance. Currently, we sit in 29 states. We plan to be in all 50 states by the end of 2023. And our goal would be to help transform the future of work for nurses, not only in the United States, but globally. We are going to help sustain and scale a workforce that otherwise would have left the bedside. There's not a better time to be a nurse because the demand is so high and the opportunities are so great. I think if I was going to tell my children to become nurses, I would need to tell them that there is still a vast amount of work that needs to be done. So if they're up for that challenge, then I would tell them absolutely become a nurse because we're going to need you.